Dick Smith shares have been suspended from quotation on the ASX on Tuesday. It comes after the group ended a trading halt on Monday as they sought to explore opportunities with their lenders in relation to extending or getting an extension on their credit facilities. But what has become clear in the last 24 hours is that their bankers at the NAB and HSBC have been reluctant to extend any further credit, and in the process they have appointed Ferrier Hodgson as receivers.
As we can see here, the sale were trending at all-time low at 20 cents per share on 30th of November 2015, and their best level were at 2.41 in January 2014. The last trade on the ASX was 35.5 cents per share on 5th of January 2016.
The question now is, how did this happen? They had a very high level of debt ratio with about 67% and very poor liquidity and a capital ratio of only 1.23. At some point they had to appoint an administrator to save them through this period, but even with that there was no guarantee that they will survive. As a public company, Dick Smith was required to inform any material that they think will influence a decision made by users, especially these three groups here. Let's go back to last year and see where Dick Smith went wrong. In the annual report of 2015, Dick Smith announced that the profit will be in the range of 45 to 48 million. 3 months later, the director goes to the shareholders and says, "Hey guys, I'm really sorry, but it looks like we're just going to make 37 to 43 million profit, and I hope that's okay. At least we are still making profit, right?" And again 2 months later, on the 30th of November, a special material announcement was published on the Australian Stock Exchange website. And as you can see there, it says non-cash adjustments following inventory review. There was a whole bunch of info in there, which pretty much meant that they had too much inventory in hand and they couldn't sell them. In order to sell them, they needed to lower the price below the cost, which could total to up to $60 billion. The last profit guidance of $43 million will now decrease by $60 million. Let's move on to the $60 million cash impairment. It simply means that the stock can only be sold for $60 million less than its cost. And as we all have learned, the stock should therefore be valued at the lower of cost or its net realizable value. So NRV simply means how much do we think we could sell it for less any selling, marketing and distribution costs. Let's assume that the cost of inventory is $400 million, but they can only sell it for $340 million. That's a stock write-down of $60 million and it needs to be recorded as expense. Now, why did Dick Smith record a $60 million stock write-down as expense before they sold the stock? Because remember, the announcement was made in November and the sales actually took place in December. It all comes down to the accounting principle of conservatism. It says that caution must be used when preparing financial report so that assets and revenue are not overstated and liabilities and expense are not understated.
Dick Smith had an agreement with Epilepsy Action Australia to support its fundraising activity called Purple Day, which is held on 26th of March. The demise of Dick Smith may severely affect the life of thousands of men, women, and children who have epilepsy.
On 25th February 2016, a statement released by the receivers detailed the closure of all Dick Smith stores due to failed attempts to sell the company. Approximately 2,460 staff in Australia and 430 in New Zealand were made redundant as a result of store closures. The last Dick Smith stores closed on 3rd May 2016.